Tens of thousands of people are still unaware that they've been exposed to coronavirus after a major failure in the test and trace system. Around half the cases are in the northwest of England. We'll have all the details also tonight. Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. The government has launched an investigation after a computer glitch means tens of thousands of people may still be unaware that they've been in close contact with someone who has tested positive for coronavirus. A technical issue in transferring positive results from laboratories led to almost 16,000 missing cases. All those who tested positive were informed, but their close contacts were not, and many still haven't been traced. The Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, told Parliament the incident should never have happened, and he said it had not yet been resolved. The Shadow Health Secretary, Jonathan Ashworth, said the missing results were putting lives at risk. Here's our health editor, Hugh Pym. Donald Trump's chief of staff says he's hopeful the president will leave hospital later today after receiving treatment for coronavirus. The White House press secretary, meanwhile, has become the latest person to test positive for COVID. The news came after Mr. Trump made an impromptu drive-by appearance for his supporters outside the hospital near Washington, where he's being treated, as our North America editor John Sopel reports. Well, thank you. Well, as John was saying, President Trump's treatment has included a cocktail of antibodies, the antiviral drug remdesivir and the steroid dexamethasone, which is normally used when patients become seriously ill. Our medical editor Fergus Walsh takes a look at what these treatments tell us about the health of the president. The Welsh Government is considering imposing quarantine restrictions on people who travel into Wales from coronavirus hotspots in the rest of the UK. The Welsh Health Minister is looking at the options after Boris Johnson said he did not want to stop people living in parts of England that are under local lockdown going on holiday in Wales. No Time to Die. It's the eagerly awaited Bond film that has been delayed once again, this time until April next year. And that's proved to be the final straw for Cineworld, which says a lack of new films means it will temporarily close all its cinemas in the UK and the US from Thursday. The move, which also affects the company's Picture House brand, puts around 45,000 workers at risk, including more than 5,500 in the UK. Our business correspondent Emma Simpson reports. Chancellor Rishi Sunak has promised to always balance the books despite increased spending in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking to the Conservative Party conference, which is being held online this year, he warned that hard choices will have to be made as the government deals with the fallout from the crisis. Our political editor Laura Kunsberg reports. Outdoor learning centres for children that normally host thousands of residential school trips every year have written to the Prime Minister asking for help. Since lockdowns, schools have been unable to take pupils on any overnight educational trips. For many children, it's a rite of passage. For some, the only chance they get to experience the countryside. Sarah Campbell reports. Football, and after 10 weeks of rumour and speculation, this summer's international transfer window officially closes tonight. The effects of the pandemic have left many clubs fearing for their future, but others have still been able to splash out on big money signings. Our sports editor Dan Rowan reports. 45,000 people took part in the London Marathon yesterday, but it wasn't the normal route through the city. Instead, it had to be a virtual marathon with runners choosing their own routes to do the 26.2 miles. It was the 40th London Marathon. Among them was 87-year-old Ken Jones, the oldest man to compete, and yesterday he completed the distance in gale force winds and rain. Our Ireland correspondent Emma Vardy has been talking to him. Amazing man. Time now for a look at the weather with Louise Lear. And that's it from us. Now on BBC One we can join the BBC's news teams where you are. Goodbye.